niache yote Bwana, unibadili nikufuate wewe milele.
Yabadili matendo yangu nitendayo yawe ya kupendezayo wewe.
Bwana, unibadili niache yote Bwana, unibadili nikufuate wewe. Bwana, unibadili niache yote Bwana, unibadili nikufuate wewe milele.
Zibadili njia zangu nipitazo, nipite katika njia yako Mungu wangu.
Bwana, unibadili niache yote Bwana, unibadili nikufuate wewe. Bwana, unibadili niache yote Bwana, unibadili nikufuate wewe milele.
Muchikozwa cha imwe ulendo uunguya kwa imwe mwanisola ndimwe kwambula imwe line chintu cha waka temoyane njambula jandulo kwambula kusoleka na imwe. Mukanilenga ndimwe muchikozwa cha imwe ulendo uwunguya kwa imwe mwanisola ndimwe kwambula imwe ine chintu cha waka temoyane njambula jandulo kwambula kusoleka na imwe. Nakuperevera kwane nakufoka kwane ine mwanisola ndimwe munitume ndimwe zakwananga sisitani mzimu wanetosani nyale yane pusanine ivalile vantu vino mwanisola ndimwe. Nakuperevera kwane nakufoka kwane ine mwanisola ndimwe munitume ndimwe zakwananga sisitani mzimu wanetosani nyale yane pusanine ivalile vantu vino mwanisola ndimwe.
Ndalama zinandizo tukuyoya mpingo nizo zikufuma mu matumba ya Bakirisitu. Therefore, if we have the required number of Bakirisitu, we also secure that we will also have the money. This number of Christians is under the obligation of teeth, vuna, and ztero. That obligation to give vuna, ztero, mturo, the fact that there is that as an obligation, it makes it a strength on our part. We become assured that those who fulfill this obligation will support the church. The second strength that we have is the transparency and accountability. This is ensured by the existence of the different committees in our parishes. We have the finance committees, we have the PPCs where budgets are discussed, financial issues are looked at and the decisions are made. It is a strength to have these committees which ensure transparency and accountability. Most of our parishes, if not all, also have parish accounts with the different banks. It is a strength that we have these accounts with the banks because it ensures safety of our money or our finances. The third strength that I see we have in parishes is that the church allows us to cultivate new ways of finding financial resources, of finding money. We are allowed to do some kind of business to a certain degree, and on particular areas, there are some kind of businesses that we are discouraged from doing, but quite a number of areas we are accepted to do business. We can do the farming as a business. We can raise maize or rice mills. We can establish housing estates. All these are things that we are allowed to do. These are potentials. So having the potential is in itself a strength. Para kuzomelezeka kuchita chintu, then you ulina mwavi wa kutunga chichita. So there is a potential in having new other ways of raising funds apart from the traditional established ways that the church already has. So these three, for me, I saw that were the strengths that the parishes have. However, there are also challenges. And without being discouraged, the challenges are there, and there are quite a number. The first challenge is that much as the human resource is also our greatest financial resource, there are so many Christians who do not fulfill their financial obligations to the church. It has been said, and I remember even some years back, the bishop said it even in the cathedral. He took an example of a parish and he asked for their budget. Their budget was something like 20-something million. And he said if every Christian in that parish gave 5,000 muturo, they would get about 60 million. And yet their operational budget was 20-something million. And this is true to most of our parishes. The numbers we have, if everybody fulfilled their obligation on muturo alone, we have enough money for operations in the year. And then Vuna, Stero, these would be additional, maybe for Vitukuku and the like. But we have a good number of our Christians, of the faithful, who do not meet this obligation. We have nominal Christians who just enjoy having their name listed amongst the Christians in that parish. I was joking with our brothers and sisters from St. Stephen's on the Thanksgiving Mass Day. St. Stephen's, you saw the numbers, big numbers. I was saying, kuti joina wakakuno cha mti joine ngesukura para tukusakatandara maiza uzakapereka ku. So, but for them we know that they give where they go to pray here. Kweni kukwitu kwenye kura, and so the same is true in many parishes. Vanandi vakupereka cha mturu, vakupereka cha vuna mairo abamba wakayoyangapa vuna minimum 1 tini mnyakwiza na sado imoza mbwenu nje. So this is a setback, it's a challenge. We also have occasional Christians, if you allow me to use that term. People who go to church only on specific occasions. Ni Krismasi, nane naruta kuchalichi pa Krismasi, azamruta so kuchalichi pa Easter. Vantu awa para bakara, zitero nazo zakara. Vuna nayo vakupeleka vivicha. I call these occasional Christians. We also have situational Christians. How they value the church only pertaining to certain situations in their life. Tina mwana sono mwana wakwene ukabatizika, vamutifumba mturo. Mbweti pelekeko mturo. Mwana wabatizika, varuta. Pantengwa, kumboka tuwisa ntengwa, vakwizasu. Varutasu. Vakwizasu pa visuzwa pa matenda panji pa ifa. They are also there. And these do not participate in the economic activities of the parish regularly together with their friends. Synodality, ikutondeka kufiskika, wakutora poruandecha. These are challenges. The second challenge that we have is over-dependence on external help. This has become a big challenge now that there is donor fatigue at a time when we are not prepared to fund our own church activities. Fuma yo yanga hapa kulemba ma project yayi nyangwe nyaka wakati paraba kulemba so ma project ya macharichi yaiti zengeteka because kura kuli jenderama. All those things stem from the fact that our friends who have been assisting us have started showing signs of being tired supporting us, despite having another group that is still doing it. We appreciate, but the fact that many have folded up, have stopped helping. So that over dependence on external help yatovira mukukura. Mairo vakayoyanga vatewetu vanyitu vanyake suggesting tikagureka moto tinyamulenge wa Krisitu. The bishops are saying no. Why? Wakumba yai kuti vantu vara vanangike muntu waya kupika vintu nyengo yose kupika vintu pamanyuma para nyengo ya kwana aba varuta mbweno vatondeke kujipwederera. So we also have the challenge of some committees existing on paper. Finance committees, Tirinao Maparish fundraising committees, projects committees, just functioning, appearing on paper. Kweni, in practice, Parij, ichowa kuchita. It is a challenge and a setback. We also have the lack of finance and management skills. We don't know the skills of managing our resources. Ni wachoko chomene maparishi ya Nandi yana wakireriki kweni mwamsanga kuti wakireriki vitu mba kuti tukusambizana wakatekateka nte varije mapepara yenecho, because probably we can't pay them, which is also another problem. So we lack skills in resource mobilization, and because of that too, we don't have enough resources. We can't employ capable people, and we can't provide for our needs. Tukuonga chomene wakristo viru tukupokera kweni uneneso so ulipo wakuti in many parishes priests, sisters are operating under very difficult circumstances. For example, a parish giving 100,000 fuel per month kuruta kumaungano yose kuvarware zinyifwa. 100,000 is now about 30 liters. How far can you go? So we operate under those difficult circumstances because financially we are incapacitated. Failure in these financial matters yekutipanga kuti tipange create other activities to beef up the shortfall on these traditional ways of supporting church. Kuperevera pa mturo, pavuna, pazitero, kukupangisika kuti tambe kusangaso ntowa zinyake. Zinyake zakovwira utewetu witu, zinyake zikovwira utewetu witu cha. Tawanandi sono kuli ma Golden Sunday, it has become a norm. It is an extra. So, maneuvering. Kuti panyake tingatondeskako suzwe, tingachepeskako. Mock weddings. Tukupanga hivi. Chisiki, a very new thing. Chikambira kuchitemwano, now it has spread all over. Waukirana waukumana, mbwene wauti chisiki. Wakumana chisiki. Chisiki. All these are ways kuti panyake tingasanga ndarama. But what this does, the negative part of this, is that you still overburden the same Christians. Varavakwiza kuchalichi, varavakujipereka, varavopereka kale mturo, zitero, zirazikuleka kukwanira. They are the very same people that will give pa Golden Sunday, pa chisiki, pa wedding. It will be the very same Christians. Hence, they cry, ngana muravanyake wakadandaulira ngamairo utu vantu wakufuma chalichi, vakupereka, vachuruka, because vantu vachokuwaka amongst the many Christians ndiwo vatangwanika to support the church financially. Having looked at that, these are some of the questions I would pose for reflection. What are we going to do to examine, to maximize financial mobilization through the traditional ways of the church that the church already put in place? How can we maximize zitero, muturo, vuna, special collections, so that we avoid creating too many activities with very few results? The second question is, what other supplementary ways are we going to take in addition to the 4 traditional ways so that our parishes are financially stable? Ulimi ni vichi that we can do. Because these other 4 ways, the traditional ways, have something that is potentially dangerous. because we live on hand to mouth. So it depends on our Krisitu cooperating well with their pastoral team. It depends on our Krisitu having what we need for them to give. In some cases, it depends if it's functioning properly. It also depends on the rainfall for others. So there are many things that vitiate the four traditional ways of giving to the church. And if they are the only ones, the year the church is affected. So can we find other stable ways of financing our church activities?
You may consider winding up, Father.
The last question, to respond to Moses: what measures shall we undertake where necessary to ensure safety and proper use of the meager resources that we have, the meager finances? How do we safeguard? Because another challenge is that here and there we still hear cases of mismanagement, or in a very small way, theft taking place. How are we going to safeguard our financial resources? Thank you.
Thank you. We can give another applause, a stronger one. Thank you so much, Father, for the reflection and the insights. And at the end of the presentation, take home assignment on what we should do as parishes. I guess we'll have time to come back again and brainstorm on them, because at the end of the day, we need to have something that we can work on when we go back home. At this moment, may I call upon the head teacher of Kaseye Girls to represent teachers. Thereafter, the in charge of St. Anne's to represent health sector, and then Lusubiro, community care. Lastly, it will be a presentation from Tuntufye Radio. So may we do that in a bracket of 15 minutes at most, and then at least 10 minutes, considering the time we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll just go straight to strengths. Our strengths in all the secondary schools in Karonga Diocese. I hope you know that we have 10 secondary schools. We have 4 national secondary schools, 1 boarding, district boarding secondary school, and then 5 limited day secondary schools. We all have the same schools. The first one is student in this, and we expect that all the students pay school fees. That is our first strength. The second one is on government funding. That is the grants that were given by the government. The third one is the bursaries that we are given, and also we have donations. The fourth one is the government support, especially on upward fees adjustments when need arises. That is our strength. The fifth one, we also have support from development partners when projects are approved. And lastly, on the strengths, we have IGAs in other schools, farming is done in other schools, and then animal husbandry in other schools. Although we have these strengths, but there are so many weaknesses. The first weakness is limited budget. Schools have limited financial resources compared to needs, making it so challenging to allocate funds. Secondly, fees default. This makes schools operate on deficit budgets because so many students default. They don't say some part of it, so that makes it difficult for us allocate the funds that are needed in our budget. Then the third one is the government support. Usually they don't support us fully because instead of giving us the funding that they are supposed to do, sometimes they give us part of it, not even a single grant that year. Another thing is that low enrollment in community day secondary schools. This is leading to low collection of fees. And also, in day community secondary schools, there is controlled low fees by the government. The bursaries in time, so that also is our weakness that all the schools face. Also, we have high operational costs due to rising costs of goods and services. We also have limited access to financial services. Then, lastly, we have limited financial management. Schools lack financial expertise to manage the finances as budgets do not permit to have qualified financial personnel. And for boarding secondary schools, we just hire those who can help. And in CDSS, usually we use teachers who are not in finance. Maybe they have never done a finance course. So those are our challenges in secondary schools. Thank you so much.
Karonga chomene, Madam Gondwe kufuma ku Kaseye Girls Secondary School representing Sambizi education, I should say. May we have in charge kufuma ku St. Anne's representing the health department.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm representing the in charge from St. Anne's. So myself, I'm William from Kaseye. So there are three from Chitipa, which is Kaseye, St. Clara, and St. Cynthia. Then this Karonga side, we have Atupere, St. Anne's, and then we have also a Hope Clinic. So I'll start with the strength. In all facilities, almost 5 facilities, all facilities are running what we call SLA programs. So SLA is a service level agreement whereby there is an agreement with the government. Maybe you have noticed when you come to the facility, there is an age band which when you come, we don't charge you. So we have that agreement by the government. We just give you the service, and then we'll do the billing, then we'll send the invoice to the government. Then the government will pay. So different facilities have signed different SLA levels. Some they just under 5, some under 12, and the maternity. So almost in all our facilities, we are running this, except the Hope Clinic, which is just a clinic. All facilities, except the Hope Clinic, are getting a monthly salary grant from the government. So all the salary which we get from the government. Almost a good number of facilities has some IGA, apart from the patient user fee. So if you go some facilities, they have poultry productions, pig productions, maize meal, rice meal. So these IGAs are backing us as part of IGAs. And in most of the facility, another as a strength, and you can bear witness, most of our facility, you find medicine. Despite we struggle, but at least we find the medicine always there available. We try our best. It's very rare whereby you can go in our institution and we tell you that we don't have Panadol. I think you can witness with me on that. We have the credit. Despite all these strengths, but we have also shortfalls. So one of the problems which we are having, cutting across all the facilities, and talk of shortage of staff houses. In most of our facilities, we don't have houses. You find that maybe some staff, they are commuting very long distance, maybe 10, 15 kilometers where they are residing. So to come to the facility in time, it becomes a very big challenge, especially during the rainy season. You find the staff is coming to work, soaked to the it's become very difficult. Another thing is the staff turnover. So, you know, we say we are getting the grant from the government. You find that we employ staff. The same staff we employed, when the government advertise, the government will employ the same staff you have employed. So it becomes very difficult. You know, this month, the government have lobbed this, especially when there is a massive recruitment by the government. We face very big challenge on this. So that's another thing. Limited diagnostic equipments in our facilities. Like we have the issues of X-ray, scanning machine. We don't have enough. So it will awake default. So as a facility, a meeting whereby we some of these solutions move ahead, despite not having a good amount. Which we ideas. We are planning to open a medical revolving fund. So this is a fund where first get at the beginning, then maybe St. Anne's, they have the problem to buy medicine bit and fund them, then they will pay later when they have money. When this fund grows, we are opting maybe to come up with the within the Karonga Diocese, whereby this pharmacy will be accessible to our own facilities as well as to the outsiders, those who can be able to come and buy to us. So this plan is in pipelines. We discussed this. Now we are just trying to look around how best we can implement this through our health desk. On top of that, as a facilities, we have agreed to be proactive in proposal writings through individual facilities, as well as we can also passing through the health desk, because we have a lot of challenges. So some of the challenges, maybe if we can be proactive, searching for donors, writing a grant, proposals, we can be able to manage some of these issues. Because if you go to St. Anne's, we don't have admission block. We come to Kase, there is no admin block. So we will be very proactive, and we agreed on this so that maybe we can gather grants and take this into effect. So with this brief presentation, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Brief presentation, it was within the time bracket. Thank you. Yeah, you all have 5 facilities, and the education has also 5 secondary schools or thereabouts. But so that's why we give Father Chinola a longer time. I also anticipate a longer presentation from Tuntufye, because Tuntufye covers the whole diocese. It's a biggest parish ever, run by Catechist Oscar, with Vice PPC Chair Innocent Nazombe. Very big, very big. Okay, may we have Luswiro come in take care, then thereafter, Tuntufye.
Thank you very much. My name is Joseph Kimangira. I am representing Rusubiro today and into the foreseeable future until when we are told otherwise. But I'll be brief as well. I don't have so much to say. As Rusubiro, we have a few strengths. In the spirit of being, I want to bring attention the strength that the institution that we have there now is very organized. So the word organized for me seems like is a term that is encompassing a lot, but whatever you can think of as being inorganized, I think we do touch on most of those. We are very adherent to the standards of management and the way how things must be done in a proper way, and we are very prudent with the resources that are put for us to make use of. That is a very major strength because it entails on how everything else moves forward. Another strength is that for now, we do have partnerships that we are managing very, very well, and so they are beneficial to us. Beneficial in many ways, especially in form of bringing in some income that we can use for our programming. We also have the board. Apart from the management, let's leave the management aside, but the board is very helpful. The board meets regularly, and it is very helpful in terms of giving guidance on how we can be moving as an organization. So those strengths bring us a whole package of a very successful organization we are running at the moment. On weaknesses, I wouldn't be saying of the many minor which but major one limit. That being the case, we are very responsive. So as a way of bringing in more revenue, what we do, streams of IGAs, which are bringing in a little something, which is still helpful on day-to-day running of Rusubiro. But that does not bring in the level of the amount that we need to bring in the programming that you can say that Rusubiro is being vibrant in the support and in the kutumikira Vakristu na vantu wose diocese mono. So for us to understand how Rusubiro is thinking now, I want to give you the context. Rusubiro now is transitioning. Rusubiro is no longer the Rusubiro that we have known before, that tikusunga vana varanda na vana vakuti vavwirikenge kura ku institution. Tangu vanao enya, avatiri nao ni waumadiro, tukumba vose wawerere mu vikaya mwao, vakavwirike na wapapi tuku wakufumira. So, as that is happening, we are changing a little bit on the status quo. We are now going into the community. If that is happening now, that means that, or even our mindset on the programming is changing now. So we are responding to that transition. As we are going into the community, we are leaving behind the structures that these children were using at the facility. So tikuviganizira kuti kati ngachitauli na structures haya kuti ya pindu apo ise tamgwira ntchito muvikayamura kumanyoma kuma structures ave na pindu uli. At the moment, we have not come to a very concrete answer on how we can use them, but a leading suggestion which we want to take is that ma structures yaranga wemi ya kuti yanga kudiscusswa ntchito nga ma classrooms. The idea now is that we would like to lend those structures to St. Denis Primary School. St. Denis Primary School, nkugomeza kimanya rose hii azengeka masonsono ya diocese cha pafupi na museum hapo. Ira ikuoneka kuti ni school which is very promising and would be needing a lot of students in the near future. We would like to provide an environment where St. Denis can take in as much as possible, leveraging the space that we have at Rusubiro. So that's one way on how we want to help as we are transitioning. We'll help the diocese, but also helping ourselves if the income will be flowing to Rusubiro for its programming. We are also in talks with very reputable organizations in Malawi, and it is going on very well. As you may know, that we have a long-standing partner, which is CRS. So at that level, the discussions are running, are in motion, if I should say. I am hopeful that when we get one or two more of that caliber, Rusubiro will be better placed. For your understanding, to understand why we are also chasing for strategic partnerships, whenever ndio bakutupangisa so ma project au iyo mwakusakata kwao bakwezanga nao ku Rusubiro could help us implement, let us help the people by bringing in more income and more jobs, plus the support to the diocese. As I speak now, we have just finished developing a new strategic plan for the institution. The strategic plan will be guiding us on how to move for the next 5 years. In that strategic plan, there is a recommendation for us to have a resource mobilization strategy. So that resource mobilization strategy is the one that will guide us to say, as we are here, how else can we find more revenue to help Rusubiro do its program? I'm speaking now, I do not have the proper response in how we are going forward, but all right to put so that resource strategy, mobilization strategy should help help us, to guide us to see where we are going. And then the doors will open on how to think and how we can do everything else. With that resource mobilization strategy comes a resource mobilization team. In the near future, in less than 2 months, by January, I'll come up with a resource mobilization team, which has never been there before, also responding to the recommendations of the strategic plan, the new strategic plan. That we are going to have people who are vested in thinking for the organization. All that is clear is that before the end of 5 years from now, we will also have an independent investment vehicle, which I hope will be good enough to be bringing in the resources that we need for our programming. At least for now, that's what we are as Rusubiro, and that's what we are thinking about. If anything that is different from what I'm saying here, I think I want to be responsible. I'm responsible for what I've heard today. This is all I had for you for now. If there is anything that I should add, I think next time I'll do it. But for now, this is what I have. Thank you so much.
Director.
Good morning. My name is Innocent, the director of Tuntufye FM radio station. Of course, most of us know Tuntufye radio because of the programs that we have. That's the face of the radio. So the face of the radio campus we have. So radio, there are so many activities that take place. For us to bring you the programs, there are so many activities that take place. So I'll give you a brief description of our work as a radio station. So first of all, our radio station, the main duty of the radio is to be on the transmitters. So one of the components of the radio is the hardware component, which is the machine which from which we the last part radio, because at the moment one transmitter would cost you about $25,000. That's the most expensive part of the radio. So for us to build and erect one transmitter, we need about 50 million just for one transmitter. So that's the most expensive part of the radio. And for us to bring you the content through the radio, through all our transmitters, we pay MTL. Every month we pay MTL 1.9 million, which is about 21 million every year. So that's the most expensive part of the radio. And then the second part of the radio is the content part. So we create content. So this content is created in form of videos, like the one we are seeing here, the videos, and we also have images. You have seen Adams when Lupembe taking pictures. We also provide pictures. And then, but our main thing is audio. So we generate content. Yeah. Now, after generating content, after operating this machine, we generate airtime. So airtime is the greatest asset of the radio. That's what we sell as a radio station. So when they are saying today the time is 8 o'clock, that time is what we are supposed to sell. If we say there's a function that's somewhere, that time is what that advert is that we have to sell. So after generating that airtime, for us, we generate at that airtime at 2,000 kwacha per minute. So after generating that at 2,000 kwacha per minute, we have to sell. So we sell it at 10,000 kwacha per minute. But you can see that most of the work that we do as a service is free. So we raise money somewhere, we pump into the radio, we generate content, we generate airtime, and we give for, because as due to the setup, the users of our service do not directly pay for the service. I don't know if you paid something after tuning into Tuntufye radio this morning. So the users of our services do not directly pay, but we have to find money to pump into that. Schools generate money through user fees. So when a student fails to pay school fees, he is not allowed or she is not allowed to enter the classroom. But we will not say those who have not contributed to the radio should not listen to the radio. But the frequencies will reach their homes and they'll be able to catch them on 104.6 or 104.8. So as a radio, we have a motto, and our motto is your good news and development radio station. So which means our programming is spread into two categories. We have pastoral content and we have development content. So that aspect of pastoral is what is the one we work hand in hand with the pastoral secretary, and then the aspect of development is one we work with the Caritas Commission. And we are also supposed to support the resource mobilization efforts of the diocese through the finance department. So we promote the activities of the diocese, like the Thanksgiving Mass. We were airing adverts to support that department to generate income. So in brief, that's the picture I can paint about our work and our struggle, our work. In terms of the strength, we have wide coverage and we have most people in the northern region listen to Tuntufye FM radio. And according to statistics by National Statistics Office, we are the number one radio station in Malawi, and we command 19% share of all the people who listen to the radio in Malawi. So that's according to statistics. If we go by our own local statistics, then Tuntufye FM radio is listened to by 79% of people in Karonga and Chitipa. The other radio stations share their shares with Zodiac percent and at 14%. So how we penetrate the space. So we proudly say that we are the gatekeepers of information in the northern region. If people have not used our radio to communicate, then the chances are that people in the northern region have not actually captured. Then we also have a dedicated and dynamic team of staff members. And our staff members, most of them are ready to go out to any place at any time. So we sometimes messages around 6 that we have to be at Zutu House by 7. By 7 you find them there. So we have that level of dynamism, that level of flexibility. And of course, we also have that level of resilience. Our young man here has been standing for close to 2 hours, but he is still there, more like a soldier. So we have that level of dedication among our staff members. Sometimes they leave their homes at 3 or 4 and return at 9 after a function. So we have that level. And in the Diocese of Karonga, Tuntufye FM radio is the hub of communications in the diocese. So we manage all the social media platforms of the diocese, the website, and other digital platforms. So most of those are managed from the radio. Then staff members of the radio also have unique skills which are also used by other departments of the diocese. For example, we have the moderator here, Moses Kamanga, has unique facilitation skills, unique emceeing skills, and those are exploited by the diocese. We also have facilitators who are engaged to facilitate different processes in the diocese. We also have a choir master, so the diocesan of choirs, who also comes from the radio, our driver. We also have people who support other institutions in proposal development as well as strategic development. So all those skills are there, but we also offer these services for free. So the radio does not get anything because Moses will not send an invoice for facilitating this meeting. And then we also have ability to raise over 70% of our operational expenses through broadcasting services such as adverts and sponsored programs. We also have trusted partners and clients who trust us and who believe in us. And then we also comply with the regulations. We are in good books with the regulator, Malawi Communications Regulator Authority, and we are used as a model of religious media houses. We are used as a model of community radios in Malawi. So for several years, we have been exempted from audits. So every year they come for annual audits, and there have been years where they say, no, we will not come back to you in the next 2 years because you are already doing well. And then we also have support from parishes. So different parishes contribute towards the running of the radio. So Your Lordship, maybe for the sake of records in this house, the contributions which come from the parishes, the highest amount that we ever received from parishes was in 2022, we got 210,000 kwacha from St. Anne's Parish. And the highest contributor towards the running of the radio is St. Mary's Parish. Last year they gave us 206,000, and this year they have given us 204,000. So that according to the figures that we have, that's where we are. In terms of meeting the targets, of course, Chisankwa meets the target by 100%. So they contribute about, last year they contributed 77,000. This in 2023, in 2024, they contributed 75,000 towards the running of the radio. So I just wanted to set the record for the sake of the house. That's how we stand in terms of the contributions from the parishes. So the weaknesses, we have talked about all these listeners, all these platforms, but we are not able at the moment to leverage on the wider listenership. So we also have a community for Africa. We have not been able to leverage on that through activations and other initiatives. The second weakness that we can see, we have dysfunctional parish radios. So there is that structure which is supposed to be functioning, but this is mainly due to the structural issues. The way the parish radio committees were structured, they were supposed to be under the communications secretary and reporting to the pastoral secretary. So for us to reach them, we have to go through that whole chain. But these people are very busy. They have so many things on their table. So they have not been able to assist us to coordinate this. So if there can be a chance to change a bit, that we have direct contact with them and we build them through our own initiatives so that they are vibrant and represent us well in the parishes. Another weakness, erratic cash flow. So every business needs to have capital, but the radio does not have a director. So in the past, we used to enjoy the direct injunctions from the pastoral commission. As according to the budget of the radio, when we are developing our budgets, we have projections. For example, we get this amount from the pastoral commission, this amount from the Caritas commission, this amount from the parishes. So from the parishes, after calculating the diocese made a determination that each and every small Christian community has to be contributing 700 kwacha every month towards the running of the radio. So after calculating at that time, there were 728 small Christian communities, which was coming to around 5 million kwacha per year. But that amount has not been coming, and we have not been having challenges to follow up on this money. So in the way, there are those cash flow challenges where we have time to MTL, we have sold their time to the ministry. It takes 5 months to pay us. But in the meantime, we need money for other services. In terms of the trends in which in the way we raise our resources, from January to April, those are lean periods. And these are this is the time when we used to go to knock on the door of the commission and the pastoral commission. But now they are also struggling and they are not giving us anything. For example, the pastoral commission has not done a direct injection. I know they are contributing indirectly, I know, but for us to use in the operations, then there is need for a direct injection. And the Caritas Commission also has not been able to support the way the way we expected this year. So those are the gaps that we noted. So from May to June, from May to July, that's the peak period where we generate a lot of money for the running of the radio. August to November, there's a decline in the revenue that we collect through our broadcasting services. And December is low and we won't enter into January. So we mainly rely on the months from May to November to raise money for the whole year. And that's how we operate. So that's why the direct budgetary injections are still important for us to cushion the lean periods that we experience. We have also noted a decline in the marketing initiatives due to the reduction in staff members. So some of our staff members who were very much involved in marketing activities were transferred to the courier. So we have George Mafongo, we have Grace Msukwa, we have Rose Chawinga, so we are transferred to the courier. So we are still trying to bridge those gaps in order to move forward. The high cost of running the radio, that's also another challenge that we face. Instability of the kwacha. Within 5 years, the fees we pay to MTL have risen from 570,000 to 1.80 million just in 5 years. That's where we are. So we also have the challenge to collect parish contributions from the small Christian communities. That's another challenge. And then there are also limited opportunities for monetizing our content and other initiatives. And the difficult terrain which prevents us from reaching other areas. So what are the opportunities that we are seeing? In terms of the radio, because the radio we have already said that we generate content and they generate airtime. So in terms of the radio, we feel that we can be allowed to leverage on the use of airtime for promotion of the radio activities, for promoting people to be giving towards the radio, and also establishing vibrant Friends of Tuntufye and radio committees which will be supporting the radio. Since we also distribute content via Facebook and YouTube, we also want to monetize that space. YouTube, after reaching several views, you can get money out of it. So we need also to go towards the monetization of the content. So we can also go ahead to ask individuals to support or to sponsor masses that we air on the radio. So an individual or parish can support the airing of mass on the radio. For example, I give 20,000 for mass on Sunday. I give 20,000 for each and every mass of the bishop. So those are also some of the opportunities that we see. And then, of course, we are applying a short code from Macra, where people can be accessing our messages through SMS, and after getting an SMS, there's a deduction, for example, 50 kwacha, and part of the money will be coming to us. And we'll be also able to run promotions where people will be able to pay directly to the radio through the short code. So outside the radio, what could be the initiatives that we are looking at? So the first one, we would like to propose the development or the establishment of Tuntufye Endowment Fund. So on 20th December, we have planned an activity which will launch this fund. So it's a dinner and dance, which will launch this fund, and we are appealing for contributions. So once we grow this fund to reach about 100 million, then we'll be able to invest in other ventures. So at the moment, we are in the process of distributing invitation letters to this gala event, which will also take place here at Lusuwiro Music Center. We asked for this place to do that. So once we have that, we'll invest, for example, on the money market. We'll invest with NICO Unit Trust or the Mutual Unit Trust, where we'll be getting interest. We will be getting interest, and those interests will go directly towards the running of the radio. The second one will be to invest in in liquid assets, the assets that can generate money easily or quickly. So we are proposing to venture into livestock production. So the bishop already gave us land, which we can develop, and venture into livestock development. For example, we are proposing to have poultry farming. Your Lordship, the business plan for this is already in place. So we just need to change the figures because we developed it in 2019. So we just need to change the figures have the current figures, and then later on maybe we can have someone, we can have an investor. We also want to invest in the pig galley unit, pig production. In Karonga, people eat pork a lot, so we also wanted to venture into that. So these are assets which can, productive assets, which can easily be converted into money. A business plan for this is already in place. So the time we developed it in 2019, it was the startup cost was 2 million. So we just need also to revise according to the current market rate. Another IGA that we can think about is conferencing facility. We have a hall at the radio, so my multipurpose hall, which fetches about 40,000 per day when people use it. So we thank the Coping family who usually come to use it, and they pay. When they come to use, they pay. Of course, I'm also encouraging the Caritas Commission, the people who come to use it, they can also be making a contribution towards the whole. But they come, their accountants also come to work in that room, so they can also be encouraged to be making contributions towards the same. But the Coping family are our good friends, they contribute towards that. And we also thank the health facility in charge, who also use this hall and also make a contribution towards the same. So another aspect, the bishop gave us land to develop how the construction of houses, so to construct houses. On this one, we developed a strategic business plan on how we can develop the houses and commercialize them. So all these are in place. We just need to revise the figures because we are developing them in 2019. In 2019, we are looking forward to see there will be a time when adverts will not be enough to support our operations. So what can we do? So we are just thinking aloud and developing these initiatives. Thank you very much, Your Lordship.
That marks the end of our presentations. As I already warned you, Tuntufye is a parish, so my minutes gara bayethi wangulekako ba education wangulekako na mpeleka huko kuti bamalizike mako. Taonga.
Yo, many thanks, and I think Miracle will have something to present in the afternoon. The radio, you have covered everything, even you have also given us the way forward, so in the afternoon you don't have to bother them because they have already laid out where they want to go. So thank you very much, Nazombe, for that, and also for the records there. I just want to highlight on a few things and also give some homework there, but then we'll go for lunch. I think the first thing I would like to highlight is the overall drive for self-reliance. I did mention when I was talking about the diocese that although we're doing well, we're still very much dependent on help from outside, which is dwindling very, very fast. And because of that, we are caught up with many, many projects. So the Masukira project I talked about yesterday. Of course, we also wanted to build a church at Kaporo. And those from St. John Paul II Parish, we've taken so long to get the money to finish that project. And we hope we'll manage to finish it. Okay, let me talk because I'm already here. Father Joseph will beam out the questions for the discussions in the afternoon, then we'll walk away. Or Father Joseph, are you already ready with the questions? Maybe come. You wanted to present some? Okay, maybe if you take a. Okay, you want just to leave the questions for the group discussion? Yeah, I'll tell them. So when we finish here and we say to pray for the food. Father Joseph will put questions here for the group discussions in the afternoon, especially for parishes. So please copy them from here. You can also copy them as soon as you come back in the afternoon, of course. I think I was talking about how stranded we are as a diocese. So St. John Paul II, now is when we've got some money, we think we can finish that church. Also, St. Michael's Parish, we think we can finish that church, we hope so. But I'm just giving examples of how difficult it is now to get money from outside. St. Peter's, we don't have a parish church there, and we're trying to come up with a shelter. We think that shelter probably will use it for a while. I did tell the parish priest to say, because it's going on to be a shelter, don't use, look for very expensive iron sheets. But we are quite in a difficult situation in some parishes. Livingstonia, we don't have a priest's house. Of course, there was a complication at the beginning, which I don't want to bore you with. But that has led to the fact that we have a parish there, and the parish center has been moved to Vungu. And we hope to start building a secondary school there in 2027 or 2026 toward the end, and bring also sisters there, and the parish priest is at Livingstonia Mission. Then we have Wenya. There's no, well, the parish church is there, but there's no parish church there. I saw the parish house, the father's house. The two fathers from Wenya, they are living really like great missionaries. They live in a house that makes you feel very sorry for the two fathers there. It's a very deplorable situation. Father Philip makes sure that we do talk about that, and Father Bibin maybe late this afternoon. But the situation of our priest at St. Teresa is very bad. Then we have also the parish at Veronica at Ndembwera. There's no parish church, there's no father's house. Also a very difficult situation. At Malimbalimba, St. Thomas More, we have not yet finished the father's house. Of course, there's some promise that we could get some money to finish that priest's house. So then we have issues of vehicles. In Germany now, there's only, as dioceses, there's only one diocese that gives money, funds, one vehicle per year, and that is Rothenburg. But from 2 or 3 years ago, those vehicles, when they are funded, they remain in parishes. The Bambo cannot go away with them. So beginning with the vehicle that is used in St. Ignatius Parish. And so all other fathers who will be applying for vehicles from Rothenburg, remember those vehicles are not tied to you, they are tied to the parish. But otherwise, when you go to Germany, and you know I go quite a lot, you will be welcomed in a very German way, really welcomed very well, and they are very pleased. And so they will say, Bishop, very, very welcome. We always like to hear about Karonga. We can discuss projects now, but Bishop, don't talk about buildings, vehicles, no. But we can talk about Laudato Si and women's rights. This we can talk about. So that's how the conversation goes. But otherwise, in Germany, there's no longer any committee, any organization that is interested in funding vehicles. So that's the situation we are in. And that's the reason why also 3 years ago we started also buying motorcycles for the priests. Because the only institution that was interested in this was Church in Need. But they also changed the rules. The fathers were ordained some years back, you know, like Father Alex Kwesi and the other. We bought the motorcycles before they were ordained. And even those were ordained under Mzu's diocese. But Church in Need said, no, we don't want you to buy the motorcycle before the Bambo is ordained. It is like you are trying to reward him for being ordained. So they said, ordain a Bambo, send him out there to Kangia, and when he's taking Matora and things like that, they let him send us the pictures of traveling in Matora or walking. And so that we feel sorry for him, then we can send him a motorcycle. So that's what they told us. But the problem is, like this year, we ordained 2 priests, and as Peter Smuel at St. Michael's and Anthony Kawiro. If we didn't give them transport, so they go to St. Matthias, what do they do next? And the project proposal for engineering, if you find someone, it takes about 7 months or 8 or 9 to be funded. So what does the Bambo do? They are classmates of these Peter Smuel, as the father knows. His fellow priests who don't have motorcycles, don't have means of transport. He knows that. They take public transport. Here in Malawi, here. I'm not talking about Gambia or something. I'm talking about here. So that's the reality of the situation. So I think what the Christians are doing here is very, very important. And when we miss, this is one of our biggest headache. Because as bishops, we share all the issues of transport and things like that. The medical scheme that I was talking about, one of the biggest hit for the bishops. Father Chinoa talked about the limited upkeep that is given in terms of money to the priests. So they are almost non-existent. So the Bambos have a car, but the tire of that car, just to buy one tire, is about 300, 400. How does he survive? Servicing a car, very expensive. So these are the issues that we're dealing with, but we shouldn't give up. I think it's a year of hope. We will deal with this. As a result, we have also tried to push for self-reliance. So the Caritas Commission, Mwavishawa is here. He heads all our 4 desks of education, health, development, and justice and peace. I've told them that they should stop relying solely on partners from outside. And therefore, they are very versatile. They are coming up with a lot of projects. They want to open a farm. And I think one of them, they're trying to solve their own problem. When they go to Ntalile, they have no place where to sleep. There are small guest house there. They're not happy with them. So they want to build a very big facility there, hospitality facility. It's very well designed. It's a big project. When I ask them where we get the money, they just say, God will provide, God will take care of us. They have so far modded a lot of bricks, and there's a borehole there being drilled. The pastor, I think Father Songa is Kulimaskawa Uko in John Paul II parish, and a few things of those. And Judith is in charge of the administration part of the chancery there. So we have given them the management of Mwese Farm, because from 2028 they have to find their own money for their own salaries. So the Catechetical Training Center, I met the director yesterday. He has to do the same. The radio, I think the radio director was here. He has very good plans. Rusuiro, the director was here. He had a lot of good plans. I'm happy about all that. Parishes, we have no choice. We have to do the same. We'll talk about that also this afternoon. Then, in terms of the way forward, I want also to say a few things. Reorganization of the Laity Council. The Laity Council ought to be reorganized. And I want to give you homework that you can do in the afternoon, because I wanted to talk about it at the end. You need to come up with a subcommittee, but I'll put in my own people there for the beginning until you take over. We need to have a revenue subcommittee or committee of the Laity Council, because not all of you might be familiar with fundraising and organizing financial resources. So you will have to have this revenue committee with a chairperson, vice chairperson, treasurer, secretary, committee members, and ex officio members. I'll tell you why I have appointed some people to help you to take off. But this is a subcommittee of your Laity Council. I want to do it at the end of today, but I'll give it now so that in the afternoon you can sort out the homework that I'm going to give you. From 1 January 2026, it will be this subcommittee of the Laity Council that will be responsible for organizing the Thanksgiving Mass celebrations and all contributions. So you will be fully responsible. You will also be responsible for monitoring IGAs of parishes. Not implementing, but monitoring and ensuring that parishes have IGAs. So the treasurers who are here listen to that, and all members of the parishes listen to that. You will also be responsible for monitoring financial management in parishes in collaboration with the diocesan finance officer. Because you yourself might be trained accounts. So wherever you see a big gap, please let us know. And then our finance people will go and assist those parishes. Secondary school head teachers, by the way, and also hospital in charge, where you have, I know that you cannot employ big flyer accountants or fully grown accountants like those you were hearing about here. But we want you to be assisted. So if you need some assistance, please let us know through your desk officer so that our finance department can continue to monitor and animate your finance people. But the Laity Council will be responsible for monitoring financial management in all our parishes. Not necessarily institutions, because I think I don't want to keep you busy for nothing. I think that my office can do. This Laity subcommittee, or the Laity Council in general, the subcommittee will be also responsible for ensuring that special corrections are submitted on time. The PMS director is here. I told him to reprint the, where is Father Bernard? Yes, you give in the afternoon the corrected version, so no excuses from them afterwards. Father has a very difficult job. The money that is given, as soon as it is given, Vakurom or Vakulirongo kuzikumba, soon after that. Maparishi anyake zikufika, maparishi nyetu kuziona ruwiri yae. Kweni mwakizika mazyo, diyo kuti mudayosisi ya Karonga, filiko makora. No, ine amama na dada wakansambizia kudandaula paliposi cha. Kudandaula apopeka mpakwenerera. Of course wadada wakana kudandaula paliposi, nothing. He just says, mwanarume akudandaula yai. When? Mama naye mpanya kunipulika, dada walikuta kwa chuta. Mama akawa na dangu limosa, atawaka munyumba yani munu. Chakuli ya ndapika kwa mbira dada wino na mosi mwe palijo yangakana. Bueno. So para fumira kuwaro, para dada ndakondwe, wakalia wakasizimira wakamaso na kulia mwe. Mama kakana udandawa na chakuli ya chaka, apika. Ate uya achikumba yai agezo wakama wako akaripa waro. She was tough. But her dada respected her mama. She accepted it. Actually, they loved each other so much. Now you're in Chingerese because otherwise wangapulika mama. You remember, I was still young. And her dada used to call her mama at that age. I'm second born, so she used to call her Wane. And her mama would say, you know. And I thought that was her name. So Nanesa, I said, Wane. She slapped. But yes, I think what I wanted to say is that I think we should be grateful for things that go well. But special correction, the Laity Council, you'll be responsible for ensuring that these monies go to the treasury, our treasurers, on time. You'll get the dates from the PMS director. You will also be responsible for reviewing the dinner and dances. Are they really not feasible? Can they work? Can they not work? You should review that. You would also advise on the allocation. The St. Denis Primary School, one of our objectives was that each year there will be a certain percentage of the money they raise, and next year, the other year, at the end of 2027, because St. Andrews in Chitipa wanted to open in January, but we will not, because we first of all have to repair or renovate our kindergarten there, which we have named St. Francis Xavier at St. Michael's. So the money will go there because we are receiving sisters who want them to work there. So we'll open St. Andrews in September. So it means that 2027 in September will also be, idea is that we get part of that money for the pastoral commission, especially the care for the for Sunday school children. But another one is another percentage to plow into poor primary schools, but not all poor primary schools. Only those primary schools which, as per the policy of the diocese, the local community has done something in those primary schools. Chintu chakuti chikuoneka. Not kuti kakaenderapo waka, tikakavatauzya vana vapasikuru no. Ndakhala nkhuyo yapingu zitali. So if the Rete Council can see something visible that the local community did at that primary school, then they will enlist that school as a beneficiary from the money that will come from St. Denis Primary School. They will give anything. It could be 250,000, 100,000, 300, depending on how much St. Denis has given us and how much we have given to you, as well as also given to the pastor. And later on, St. Andrews, the same. When this money will only go to those primary schools where the community has done something that can be seen, that school is theirs. So those figures, the schools will all be identified by the Rete Council in collaboration with our desk officer. Where will you get the money? The Rete Council is one of the most problematic councils that the bishops ever set up. And all dioceses are complaining about that. Because when they have meetings in Lilongwe, they all come to my office through the Vicar General, the Pastor Secretary, Lilongwe, but they themselves have no penny, and meeting it could be Lantaya, Inya it could Mangochi, Auchemese, oh, Joseph, Yari Apa, Chemese meeting is Vantu, Vajanandaramasha. So, why did we set up these committees? But the church requires that we do so. So, by 2026, since the Rete Council will be responsible for organizing the Thanksgiving Mass, to meet the target that will be determined by the bishop, if you have met the target determined by the bishop, 10% of that money will be for the use of the late year. Only when you have target. So if I have given you the target of 100 million and you have raised 99,586 mavija matondeka basi. Matondeka. But if you have met the target, 10% will be for the use of the Diocesan Laity Council. So if this year you had been given that, you would get about, I think 10 million. Yeah, they would get 10 million. When policy chambe chakachukwiza. If you meet the target, 10% will be for you. This is a tough job, so I would like to begin that you take off with people that I rely on, that can be pushy, and later on they will move backwards. And then allow yourself to move forward on your own. So, Mwavi, where are you? Is Mwavi? Yes. So, Mwavi, and for the next 4 or 5 months, you chair this subcommittee. He's a very creative, very resourceful. He's a lay person, he's a dada, so he qualifies. Taonga. When vice chairperson, mukadumisiane over lunch hour, ningatema kuti wawe mama wa kukhala kuseri kwa association itu ya Mbeya, kuseri kwake uko cha chifuka kuna mkumano mafoni kulije hivi ngatovwira cha so yes, so it's someone who is accessible. And then treasurer, I think you can identify. I would recommend that you should make sure that this person lives in some institution, because it needs to print a lot of reports and things like that. So pa muntu phone arije, computer arije, muti treasurer, musu's gang. But you can hijack any one of our officers. Uimugana utuya kuimanya computer. Mtore mweni yuyu. Ndireite council so bambu yai, mai yai. Ndireite council. Muweso secretary ni mpasandini. Because also I need someone who can push things. Leah, where are you? Is Leah here? Yeah, Leah Nyon. Come up here, I think. So this lady is responsible for our coping projects. Most of you know her. She's very trained, the agriculture, the my projects, and can push things a little bit by personality, by everything. Yeah. She can also advise you on all agriculture-related IGAs in parishes. So when she goes around, if you tell me Tarimaskava, because she's trained in that field, she will also come and tell me, Wakasanta Nanguru Tarimaskava, Kwenza Merapo Wakasitatupera. She will be able to tell me. She is also responsible for the manufacturing of, making of Mbeya fertilizer. So she can tell you. And if you are telling me lies, she can also tell me that, they will tell me that you are telling me lies. Some of my officers that are too kind, they will just say, and things like those. And then I think the committee members, you find out, when the ex-official ones want to put in also another person who can push things. Kimangira, you are here. Joseph. No, I want no. Yes, so Joseph is in charge of Rusuviro here, but he's also overall responsible for health facilities. So Mapurika, the terms of reference of what I've given. You work yourself, Mwavi and him. If you need someone, Andrea, I think you are okay. Yeah, what you mean? Joseph. When the only ex-official member that I've given you and is sitting there to do the opening prayer and the closing prayer is the pastor secretary. Paratondeka, the deputy pastor secretary, Father Raphael. Nchito ya wikuru ndi kumlombesikani na kumtuvisikani. Bueno. Aba bagwira ntchito mpaka apo ndaona kuti komiti ikugwira ntchito makora para vantu anda apalira apa ava vanipalira kuti mukukolerana nawo cha. I would dissolve the Diocesan Laity Council na usora inyake. Mazaza andi nawo wakufuma kwa chiuta. Yeah. I would dissolve it. I want the lay faithful, to be driven by passion, but in an orderly manner. I want parishes to be able to stand on their own. So Namisa, you'll be talking about the projects that you particularly in my parish. So when you hour, they will help you to advise you. But my brother priest, who are a parish priest here, we have no choice. We must go on. We have to go on. We have to manage parishes. We have to manage secondary schools. I was very happy with the suggestions you were giving about secondary schools. But secondary schools and hospitals, the person in charge overall, so he will do that together with the responsible officers. When my parish, the Rete Council will find these members in the afternoon so that I can install this committee, commission this committee, Namachero, at the closing mass. When we will never give up, we must go on. The fact that Bantu Wakuwaru Wakutipa and Darama is no excuse for having a Bambo who can't go kukasunga nyifu. Because our Bambo are jimafuta, because parish is jimafuta. We don't have that option. We can't have a Bambo staying at the parish, because he can't go to Bundi, because Mdame Mafuta is given. That option is not there. He must go to Bundi. Either Pagarmoto, or achite haya boda boda, or angauka mhanyauno amfika na machero. When there is no option of him just lying there in that parish house, I'm going to get one. We are not a job. God can look at you to find at the very end. We must. The Bambos who founded us as a diocese came from Rikuni, stopped at Chipaso, stopped at Katete, stopped at Mzambazi, and then came up here. They walked. Where they were tired, they were carried on stretchers. I went to Lady 2012. The only Bambo had been there was Father Dupusi in 1947. He walked there. They walked everywhere like mad dogs. Thanks to that, we have a diocese here. We are not going to stop this. Monsignor said Dennis slept about for 2 or 3 hours every day. Only 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes he never slept. These are people, the giants who laid the foundation of who we are. We are not going to give up. We will carry out our responsibility to lead you to heaven. Whether it is tough or it is not, and if we don't have resources, let us look for them. The Bible says God feeds these birds, so we shouldn't worry. But birds wake up around 4 o'clock looking for mpazi. They wake up around 4 o'clock, kwamba upenja mpazi. They don't sit and at na kujuraka mroma, expecting kuchuta tuponyenge mpazi. They wake up at 4 o'clock. Mukuzipulika pasi kwamba kulia tuyuntu kwamba kulia. 4 o'clock, upenja mpazi. Chuta upwerera nadi mpazi, atuyuni, kwetu kujuraka mlomu cha. Tupenja mpazi na kuchimbiza. Tundali cha for 3 days kwetu kuchimbiza mpazi mpaka tukakole. So let us not lie here. Mwanyaka imu hapa, mwanyaka. Paudi paweres njoicha, kwendi oi. Ukavu para wasuzi mnyumba ukavu wakutmugwenta kulima. So tikolta unyembe ya kulima so wadada chomeni. Apa mkuoneka muli makora, pama utakaya mbe mworuwina kutienti kalime mpunga, udiai muongo. Na macheru chizumbu, na macheru gara woko, na macheru gara na mona mama vyara kubolero, na mwera Pauli para wachirako, bati Pauli marichi. Para mpunga wakoma mwe mwafika, mwene kwa banja ndine, mutu wa banja ndine, manakaza atoku chitemanu asama bag 5 gasgewa. Imu hapa. He said we are not going to tolerate this. We will do everything possible to run this diocese. So I think that ndama zasgeba, we cannot stop kuruta kumaungano chwa cha Jerumani mokutipa ndarama. We're not going to do this. The schools that we're building, all this that we're talking about, they were not there, but we have done it. Like this sentence I'm talking about and the others. So this option is not there. If tukwana uchita chwa cha ngani mabamba mkwasira kukari, Wakristo wetu wangapereka ndaramu, when they have a limit. They have a limit. When kupereka wakwenye kupereka, but they have a limit. When we have no option of karawaka pass na kudandaura waka, that option is not there. Awakajura maparish aga, they worked very, very hard. I don't want to have any parish here dying under my gaze. Let me finish here before we go for lunch. Babambo, when you're encouraging Wakristo to give, don't insult them. Ripta bambo nyaki. Kayoro kitu kawe micha. Kwa Kristo. You encourage them, you persuade them. But you don't say, imu ni mwa Kristo waka waka chomene imu, waka waka chomene. Tusikiawa tu amkandi pa mairugara, mwani paswaka tusikiawa, tingendesha uri parishine. Ivyo cha. Ivyo mdiocese icha. Ivyo cha. Wa Kristo wakupereka ivasanga. Ndipo ngomezi wabogezi chomene mdiocese kupereka chomene. I always marvel at Thanksgiving Mass. Christians don't have much, but they come, they bring maybe 50 kwacha, maybe I don't know, 2 kwacha. But they dance with these 2 kwacha to give. And they have come all the way from Kangindwa to give 2 kwacha. It's good. It's a sense of ownership of the diocese. When we are Christo, they must not get an impression could bambo uyu ngombola kuonga. This is not good. Nanga mpanuka masumbi gaviri wongani masumbi ene abampasani. But educate them, but some of your can think like that. When you don't give an impression, could mkuwanyoza. Wabalivani bakura kukangindo karongolera. Wakupulika chomeno waeresa, I think. Inani kura kwa kandi nani nyakyusa kwetu mkweni kura. Mzoso wakuza nantochi. I like this, it's great. Abamba musungiride bantwala. I heard one day you were complaining there with that. Kweni kuza wakuza, Roman, where? Wakristo wakarongolera. Look after them. In spite of their weaknesses. Look after them. Vantu kari vakatetanga ulendo wanu wakwamba kutakura kakuiponga kafumbaga vantu wauku wakuza Paulo wakuza yekura fumu awa usopa ya mbanyachusa wanyachusa wa usopa ndutesi kutite apa lipo ya wanyachusa hapa tinga ya vintu vya nteura ivicha te ya wanyachusa wa usopa ya vya utesi. My brothers and sisters, Father will put these questions here for us to guide us, but we can also look at them when we come back. Timirire tilombilomla umalilo na kutumisha chakula ya kipokereng. Mzina dada na mwana na msimtua. Fumchibuta tumwongani shwa cha chakula ya tipokerenge. Tumwongani shwa cha kumani yitu kwa mlenje mpaka sono. Mwenase, mutuwisye chakula chitu, mutuwisye sawa tunozgera, chakula cha kufumina kwa michitu wa sungu na wakupa. Amen. Mzina dada na mwana na mzimutua.